A terror plot in our own backyard. A plan to blow up a local bridge foiled. 5 men with ties to Occupy Cleveland accused of targeting the bridge and other local landmarks. Team coverage of the terror plot arrests starts now. A terror plot targets a local bridge, and tonight 5 men are accused of targeting that bridge, one that thousands of people use every day. Good evening, I'm Lee Jordan.
And I'm Danita Harris. The FBI says the same group was planning to attack other local landmarks. We have team coverage of this big story tonight, and first, the very latest. The FBI says 5 young men tried to blow up the Route 82 Brecksville-Northfield high-level bridge. It crosses above the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. As for the suspects, they faced a judge just over 2 hours ago. The men are described as self-proclaimed anarchists. Agents say the young men were planning an attack for months now. According to court documents, the group's ultimate goal, fight against corporate America and the financial systems.
We have a team of reporters bringing you every angle of this story. On your site, investigator Sarah Buddison's been digging into the backgrounds of the suspects. Tracy Carlos has spent the day at the bridge targeted in their alleged plot. But first, we turn to News Channel 5's Paul Kiska, who spoke with FBI agents today. And Paul, the FBI has been investigating these men for months now.
And that investigation included 20 local law enforcement agencies that belong to the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force. Now, this group of men apparently an axe to grind with financial institutions, and to get even in their mind, they are willing to kill innocent people that travel over a bridge that stands 150 feet tall. The federal affidavit paints a picture of the group being both dangerous and incompetent. One of the suspects suggested preventing capture by getting tacks that they could throw out of the back of the car if they got in a chase. Another said they could raise money for weapons by selling weed.
Are accused in a criminal complaint of conspiring to use explosive materials to damage physical property, a bridge.
The group originally wanted to use smoke bombs on the Detroit Superior Bridge to distract police, while others knocked bank signs off of buildings in downtown Cleveland. The self-proclaimed anarchists were angry with the financial system and the 1%.
Their own desire to commit an act of terrorism.
A source with a criminal history who attended public protests with the men went to the FBI. The source worked with undercover agents to foil the group's bigger plan to blow up a bridge to disrupt commerce after one of the suspects, 20-year-old Brandon Baxter, asked, "How much do we need to take out a bridge?" The defendants bought what they thought were bricks of explosives for $50 each during a meeting with the undercover agent at a local hotel. But the FBI agent gave them inoperable explosives. Around 9 last night, the defendants placed the 2 devices at the base of the Brecksville-Northfield high-level bridge, then tried to remotely detonate them. They were arrested on the spot by FBI agents who were recording their every move.
All 5 co-conspirators were taken into custody last night by the FBI and JTTF shortly after they attempted to remotely detonate these inert devices.
All right, maybe not the smartest or most organized group in the world, but in the end, they actually pressed the remote on what they thought would blow up a bridge and kill people. Now, coming up at 6 o'clock here on News Channel 5, U.S. Attorney Steve Dettelbeck of Northern Ohio has some strong words about the defendants. You've got to hear that. Live from FBI headquarters in downtown Cleveland, Paul Kiska, News Channel 5.
So a major, long investigation here, and other than these 5 men, Paul, is there any possibility there could be other arrests related to this?
Well, in that affidavit, it did say that based on the source that came forward and the FBI undercover agents, they got some other intelligence that will lead to perhaps other investigations and more arrests and other plots. Maybe not this significant, but indeed more people going down after this investigation.
Paul Kiska reporting tonight. Thanks, Paul. While agents say the men were plotting to attack several landmarks, their first target was a bridge where thousands of drivers travel every day.
It is above a national park visited by millions every year. That bridge is on Route 82 connecting Brecksville and Sagamore Hills. And that's where we find News Channel 5's Tracy Carlos tonight. Tracy?
You know, this bridge was completed back in 1931. It is a very busy bridge. It connects a very busy part of Route 82, and because that plot was foiled tonight, that bridge is still standing. The silence of the Cuyahoga Valley National Park is broken by news of a plot to blow up the Brecksville-Northfield high-level bridge.
I take it personally, I really do. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Marty Balick and Chris Winteregg live very near the park, and they walk on the towpath every day. Little did they or anyone else here know that a plan was being hatched to bring down this bridge.
Why would you want to damage a beautiful park like this? There's bald eagles here, coyotes, deer. Steelhead trout are just starting to come back into the Cuyahoga River. It's a beautiful place.
Just steps from the towpath, right here, the FBI says 5 men placed explosives underneath this column and tried to detonate them just after 9 o'clock last night, leaving many here today to wonder what if.
My daughter drives. She goes back and forth to places, so that, yeah, could be her too.
The bridge connects Brecksville and Sagamore Hills. It bridges Cuyahoga and Summit counties together, making for a very busy thoroughfare. Roughly 14,000 vehicles travel it every day. Thousands more people below walk, hike, and fish. Now, because that plot was foiled, the peacefulness of nature continues. And federal and local police are both responsible for policing this area. Coming up tonight at 6 o'clock, we will talk to one of those police chiefs. Reporting live in Brecksville, Tracy Carlos, News Channel 5.
All right, Tracy, thank you. Our Leon Bibb continues our team coverage tonight, detailing other targets in the area. Leon.
Indeed, Danita, indeed. Before the suspects settled on the Route 82 bridge, and I'm going to show you that right here, the Route 82 bridge right there, they talked about other targets right in downtown Cleveland. One target Paul Kiska mentioned was the Detroit Superior Bridge right here. As you can see, it's spanning the Cuyahoga River in downtown Cleveland. Agents say the men thought that bridge had a lot of potential because of the old rail line underneath it. The FBI says the men wanted to use a smoke bomb on the bridge as a diversion and then take down bank signs from Cleveland's buildings. Agents say one suspect wanted the world to know their main target was corporate America and the financial system. At one point, the suspects talked about targeting the Justice Center, cargo ships, and the new Horseshoe Casino when it opens. But none of this would happen, the FBI says, because they were busted. Leon Bibb, News Channel 5.
Well, the news of this terror plot certainly rattled Northeast Ohio today, and News Channel 5 anchor Chris Flanagan joins us live from Public Square. And Chris, you've got more reaction from people on this news.
Lee, good evening. Yes, we certainly do. A little bit after 5 o'clock now, many people leaving work, heading for home, heading over the very bridge that was targeted today in the bomb plot. Most of the people we spoke with today said, you know, it's real disturbing that something like this could happen here in Northeast Ohio. They say if it can happen here, it can happen anywhere. What they say, really, it's a sign of the times, unfortunately. And some folks say, you know, what it comes down to, you just never know who you're living next door to.
Safe, that is iffy, but I feel like you don't know who your next door neighbor is anymore. It's scary. It's really, really scary that people are actually, that's their free time. They're trying to kill people. So you just don't know.
Recent events have led me to believe that anything can happen at any time. I don't know how much control I have over any of it. Fearful, I don't really care to feel fearful.
Yeah, most saying it's pretty scary with this bomb plot. And they say, you know, what we need to do, all of us, be a little more vigilant. Just keep our eyes open because you just never know. On your side, reporting live from Public Square in downtown Cleveland, I'm Chris Flanagan, News Channel 5.
Okay, Chris, thank you. And we caught up with Governor John Kasich during his stop here in Northeast Ohio today. And while the governor told us he doesn't like to talk too much about security, he did tell us this.
When you take a look at how long the FBI worked undercover to deal with these people, it was very impressive work. And you know, they busted up a team of people that, you know, just wanted to cause terrific damage. I'm really happy with the service of the, you know, of law enforcement on this.
And it is important to note the timing of this terror plot. Agents foiled the plan yesterday, but according to court documents, the men also talked about executing possible attacks today, on May Day. The Occupy movement has organized May Day protests in 125 U.S. cities. This is a look at protests underway across the country. The theme is a day without the 99%. No work, no shopping, no banking. So far, all these protests have been peaceful. But when you are talking about terror plots, it is important to note that today marks 1 year since Navy SEALs killed Osama bin Laden. Security has been stepped up at airports around the world because of the fear that Al-Qaeda may launch an attack to coincide with the 1 year anniversary. In today's news conference, the FBI assured us that the public was never in any danger.
But it still left many in shock, and today's arrests have everyone talking on our Facebook page. We've been updating the page with new details throughout the day. The most comments came from our story showing the suspect's mugshots. Shalonda writes, "I just don't know how they thought they could get back at the 1% by blowing up a bridge that's commonly traveled by their fellow 99%. And Dolores writes, "Too close to home. Glad they were caught."
And when it comes to the men behind bars, investigator Sarah Buttison went looking into their backgrounds for us. Sarah?
That's right. I have been digging into suspects' records and talking to their neighbors. Coming up, why some were not surprised to learn the men could possibly be involved in a bomb plot.
Next at 5, emotional picture. The service the sole survivor of the Cracker Barrel shootings had performed in her hospital room. Save a life in a few clicks. How Facebook is connecting patients who need an organ to willing donors. All new at 6. An elusive fugitive captured. The phony charity a suspect used to make millions. Coming up.
Continuing coverage of the terror plot arrests, the 5 men charged in connection with a plot to blow up the Route 82 bridge in Brecksville faced a judge. In federal court today, the 5 suspects were assigned public defenders. It appears only one of the defendants' families attended today's proceedings. Connor Stevens' father shouted out in court that he loved him. And tonight we're learning more about the other suspects. On Your Side, investigator Sarah Buttison joins us live with more. And Sarah, you've got a little more insight into their backgrounds.
That's right, we do. We have been digging into the suspects' past today. Here's the bottom line. Department of Justice officials say all 5 are Cleveland area residents who could be considered drifters. And we know that the neighbors of one of the accused say they weren't surprised to learn he could be involved in a bomb plot.
Brandon was the kind of kid that you really just didn't want to be around. You know, when you saw him coming down the street, you'd just go the other way.
Tom Schaefer lives a few doors down from the home Brandon Baxter sometimes shared with his father on Wayne Avenue in Lakewood. The news that the 20-year-old is accused of plotting to blow up a local bridge was not a shock.
Honestly, it didn't surprise me at all.
Tom says the way the 20-year-old dressed, carried himself, and had screaming matches with his father made him uneasy.
I've always heard he was just unique or kind of, I think the word I heard the most in the neighborhood was eccentric.
Karen Kalin lives across the street from Baxter's home. She said Brandon seemed to be a rebellious teen, dressing in goth clothing and sometimes walking the street. She did not think her neighbor was a potential terrorist.
I mean, when my kids were riding by on their bikes, he never gave them a hard time. He'd say hi to me when I was taking the baby for a walk. Just a hi, miss, or whatever.
Both Karen and Tom say Brandon's dad is a good guy and a good neighbor, although Lakewood police have been out here several times to deal with building issues, and someone in the house got a protection order in 2010. They also say their street is generally quiet and hardly the place where you would expect an accused terrorist to live.
Yeah, I guess they gotta be from somewhere, don't they?
We also found out another one of the 5 suspects has a long criminal history. 35-year-old Anthony HAYNE has pleaded guilty to felonies, including theft and forgery in Cuyahoga and Medina counties. He's currently on probation after pleading guilty to breaking and entering on January 3rd of this year here in Cuyahoga County. On your side, I'm investigator Sarah Buttison, News Channel 5.
Thank you, Sarah. Our